Isn't this an incredible way to end our meeting? This is amazing. So I got to use this podium because my notes are all over the place. This is in response to prompt 2. I've experienced healing, wholeness, and paradise with Black women, and I know that it's possible. It's a reality that I want to bring into being. I grew up in D.C., but I spent my summers in Camden, New Jersey with my grandmother, my aunts, and my uncles. My Aunt Evelyn had an angelic afro, and she loved Earth, Wind, and Fire, so I love Earth, Wind, and Fire. My Aunt Cookie prayed a whole lot. She was really holy. My grandmother was very religious. She was Christian. And before we went to bed, she blessed our heads every night with holy oil. I think it was Pompeii olive oil. I bless you in the name of Jesus. I bless you in the name of Jesus. I bless you in the name of Jesus 3 times, else it doesn't work. My grandmother said that I was smart. She took classes at Camden Community College and took me with her. And so when we got home, we would always reenact this sort of thing. Everybody knew what was coming, but we had to do it. Shelley, what is psychology? Psychology is the study of human behavior. And for a long time, I wanted to be a psychologist, but I failed psychology twice in undergrad. So I chose to become a cultural anthropologist, Shanistelle. It was close enough. And Grandma said I needed to be a doctor, so I'm a doctor. I woke up one morning and it was my 55th birthday. My maternal grandma had already died. My mom had already died. And all of my aunts, all of my maternal aunts now are deceased. I am now the matriarch in my family. I later learned through one of my cousins that my grandma was in Camden, New Jersey because her grandmother gave my grandmother $55 to take the train, the bus, to New Jersey to escape the abusive marriage she had with my granddad. And there has been trauma and abuse in my family forever. And what hurts me the most is what I feel so much possibility around, that healing and wholeness is possible for Black women. Because what I know from my studies and my travel to Africa and my initiation as a Yoruba priestess and living in the Gambia and Senegal and then going to Nigeria and all of the things that I have done, the books I've read, the lectures that I've listened to, the praying that I've done, the rituals that I've done, is that the trauma is not ours, but it comes from our history of being brutalized for centuries and centuries and centuries, which has made us strangers to ourselves and strangers to one another. And so when we see our sisters and we see our brothers, we do not see them for real. We see trauma. But there is divinity there. There is sacredness there. There is power and so much possibility there. And so in my work as a professor, I've come to learn also that that institution capitalizes on our trauma. And in order for us to survive and live into the wholeness of who we are, we have to be different in those institutions. We have to be different in the work we do with community. We have to be different in the way we carry ourselves, the ways that we walk and talk to ourselves and to each other. Earlier this year, I created something called Her Space, a healing space for Black women. I rented a cute little hall, and I ordered some food, and I invited women to come. They paid ticket prices because I'm a cultural anthropologist, Shanistelle, right? Not a lot of money. But baby, we danced, we moved our bodies in sultry ways that our grandmamas would have told us, stop that now, right? And we just had so much joy. We had so much joy. And it was absolutely beautiful. And after it was over, I was high for real, like high for weeks. And then I missed everybody. And so I said, okay, I'll organize something else. So 4 women, we went to Ghana a few months later, right? And I said, I love this, I need this, I want to amplify this. So I'm continuing to expand the work of Her Space. And at UDC, I've opened the Mindful and Courageous Action Lab. Because we don't need to just be contemplative and mindful, we need to be courageous. To speak the truth about why we are killing each other and why we are hurting each other and why we are hurting ourselves. And dismantle those structural things and then rebuild something imaginative and beautiful and profound that can hold all of our dreams. I will tell you that 75% of what I've said is not on this paper. So I'm so grateful for the reminder that the stories live within us. They live within us. So I will end with this. I'm going to sing when the Spirit says sing. I'm going to do what the Spirit says do. I'm going to move and I'm going to laugh and I'm going to cut out when the Spirit says to do that, because I'm healing when I do that. I'm not just healing for me, I'm healing for the generations to come, because I am reawakening the magical DNA, the whole DNA in my body. Just like the trauma has affected the DNA, baby, the magic and the beauty affects the DNA. So I'm going to wake it up. And I invite you to wake it up too.